because it's filtering through all that moss. You can drink. This big piece of wood right here is an exposed root from this tree, but it makes a fairly dry shelter for this situation. Woo, woo.
What do you got here?
Well, this is a Mother Nature special.
Damn. Is that dry to the touch?
Yeah, it's dry.
You can't argue with that.
Yeah, this is bone dry.
I've seen nothing dry on my entire recon. Nothing. I did find some stuff that I've been drying out of my body a little bit. If I get ignition, can you help me find some kindling and some smaller stuff?
Absolutely, man.
Let's do it, because we're running a light
Let me
here.
get out of your way, bro.
Dave and I have a metal match, and we can get a good spark off that. So we have an ignition source. But even though we have that modern tool to make fire, it's going to be a super challenge out here to pull off any sort of fire.
Even with a metal match, the spark needs to touch dry tinder for any chance of ignition.
What I'm doing is I'm creating surface area. I'm taking these fairly large pieces of cedar bark and breaking them down. And that's what I'm going to put my ignition source on.
But when wood is too wet, it doesn't break up. It turns to paste.
See how this is gumming up a little bit? It's not dry. It's drier. But the fact that that's still gumming and holding together is an indicator of moisture.
Fire is absolutely critical in this situation right now. If you're wet and temperatures are dropping, and you've got Mother Nature shelter that's about half at best as far as keeping out the cold weather, you got to have fire. You have to.
Just a 3-degree drop in body temperature.
Thumb to my pinky. My dexterity is... So it's very difficult to do what I'm doing with this metal match and the back of my knife. It's not happening.
Coming up,
There's something moving up there, Cody.
Dave and Cody set their sights on fighting the calorie game.
We need to put fuel on the human fire.
I've got a bow, and I have no arrows.
But without weapons, the hunt gets creative. While the unpredictable terrain remains their greatest foe.
It's a cliff.
I didn't see any other way around, did you?
It's not happening.
In the cold, wet rainforest of the Pacific Northwest, the first step to survival is starting a fire.
All right, man, I got a bunch of kindling here.
Hey man, my knife is pretty rounded on the back edge. Yours any sharper?
How about it?
Gracias.
You need a 90-degree sharp, hard angle, which effectively scrapes across the barrel.
Looks like you got it, man.
Okay, it's lit, but we're not out of the danger zone. We're gonna need a hell of a lot more than this stuff. Because it's gonna be a hell fest trying to dry this stuff out.
You can have a raging fire for 15 minutes, and then all of a sudden, the moisture in the wood begins to suck the heat out of your fire again, and your fire goes out, and you're screwed.
Come on, baby.
All right, Cody, here's some more stuff, man.
I hate to send you out again.
I know you need a lot.
Look at that. Look at the moisture in that thing. Bam. It finally breaks. You gotta stack that wood around the radiant heat you've already created. Pre-drying out the wood before you use it. Anyone in this situation that's trying to use fire to prevent hypothermia doesn't just need to light fire. They need to know how to sustain fire all night long.
Night temperatures can drop to the 20s in the Olympic forest. In the rain, hypothermia starts to set in at 40 degrees.
Oh, we're starting to get a bed of coals in here now, finally. Enough to keep the wood drying out next to the fire over there.
The plan for tonight is pretty much a done deal.
Feed the fire to stay warm.
What about
Dry
tomorrow?
Well, we gotta travel. West is the coast. Like I move, we gotta secure some food.
And so the next thing on the menu is a menu. The alternative is not pretty.
Food can provide the energy and body heat to stay in the forest.
Here on the Olympic Peninsula, if you have to self-rescue, go west. That's where the towns might be. That's where the coast is at least going to be. You need to get to where people might be, and it sure as hell not there. That's obviously east. We need to travel generally in that direction over there.
Let's put some of this wet moss.
Yeah, let's deal with the fire and then be on our way.
I'll take care of that.
It's very hard to orienteer in a rainforest. Look around. How in the hell do you orienteer through this country? There's a sliver of sun, and it's gone. Are you going the right direction? Are you walking in circles? Where's the food? This is a truly dangerous situation.
Right here, Cody. Heads up. Everything here is slippery. Cody's little bare feet will slide right off one of these logs, and you'll have a mechanical injury, and your carter's carrying your ass out of here.
While Dave and I are moving through this intense underbrush, we're burning loads of calories. Up and down and around and over and under type terrain. We're burning loads of calories trying to stay warm in a rainforest where you can see your breath in the middle of the day in between rainstorms.
Losing calories only speeds up hypothermia. Energy burned will have to be replaced soon.
This is a good piece of animal sign right here.
An elk tine?
It's snapped off, huh? This piece of broken antler tine from an elk antler laying here is a very valuable resource to have because this is a hard piece of bone. This can be used as it is for a digging stick or to process a carcass. It can be used to knap flint with. It's harder than regular wood, so I can use this for anything that I would use a wooden tool for and more. We take it with us, we'll find a use for it somewhere along the line. There's something moving up there, go.
This is the first major protein Dave and I have seen since we've been here.
Okay, we made him real nervous right there. I've got a bow, and I have no arrows. To keep traveling the way we're traveling, you need that fat, you need that protein.
We need to put fuel on the human fire.
Now it's time to make some arrows and get something to eat.
Noon survives. Art of self-reliance. Without hunting tools, foraging for edible plants can help stave off hunger.
There's several things of a herbaceous nature out here. They're edible. This is oxalis. This looks like a clover. It is edible in limited quantities.
Native Americans also eat oxalis to alleviate cramps, fever, and nausea. But in high quantities, oxalic acid can hinder digestion and kidney function.
So we don't want to eat too many of them.
In a cold and wet rainforest, where calories are the key to keeping warm, a herd of large animals is a clear call to action.
Hey, listen, man, I'm thinking right now we've got sunny skies. Now's probably the time to think about finding some meat.
But a big hunt takes tools, patience, luck, and time. It calls for a base camp.
We need to hunker down right here to get some food. If it takes a couple days, it takes a couple days. That's what we need to do.
You want shelter right around this area here?
Yeah, I think I'll stay within 100 yards of this circle.
I want to go gather some finger food. I want us to at least eat something because we need some energy.
All right, man.
Bottom line.
I just want something that's going to put a roof over our head, keep us fairly dry if it starts to rain. So I'm just using debris from the forest to build this, basically. I'll make a fire pit right in front of this thing. This whole thing right here is a backstop. It'll push that heat right in. These sword ferns and moss ain't gonna let it out. My Arizona buddy is gonna be plenty warm. I'll make sure of that.
Cody's slow and steady approach. Gather available food without wasting energy.
So this is a wood grub. They're pretty tasty little buggers. And they have kind of a nice woody flavor. Imagine that. And I managed to put most of them in here, I think. So I won't tell Dave that I ate most of the grubs.
Grubs have good nutritional value for their size, but it would still take about 500 to make a meal.
You just can't get away from this stuff. Look at this. Obviously, this is one of the reasons you watch where you're going when you're walking barefoot. This is basically urban obsidian. It's volcanic glass, except it was made in some volcanic factory somewhere. This trash could have been left here a couple decades ago by God knows who.
But to an under-equipped survivalist, someone else's trash can become treasure.
We can take the bottom of that bottle and nap that out into an arrowhead. So this litter might very well get us some calories.
Survival code dictates making shelter and fire before going after any food source.
Best place you can gather tinder in a situation like this is up high in the tree, because this stuff is exposed to the wind and the sun during the day if it hasn't rained, and it's going to be halfway dry. A crack, snap like that, all good wood for fire. Hopefully we can get something to go with this ferro rod. We want as much surface area as we can possibly get right now to make this work. Hey, what's up, man? How'd you do?
I did good.
Talk to me.
Look at this.
That is bomber,
I
man.
know what you're gonna do with that.
Oh, man, that's Arrowhead City right there.
Obviously, you're gonna go hunting.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
I'm gonna go to the water right over here, and I'm gonna go downstream. And I don't anticipate being gone much longer, maybe 45 minutes or so.
All right, man. I think it's time to find out if this bow in this tube has got one of the pieces and parts. This is a 3-piece takedown longbow, and it's challenging to take game with this type of bow because of the proximity you have to get to the animal. I would say, looks like we have a functioning longbow. So now it's time to fashion some arrows. I'm looking for something pretty straightforward, an arrow shaft. There's a really good one I see right here. Now this is salmonberry, but this shaft is already good and dark, and it feels pretty stiff. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that one.
Salmonberries grow in the Pacific Northwest on bushes up to 6 feet tall. Their long, straight branches make for good arrows.
You're gonna have to notch this somehow. I wanna make sure that this pith will come out of here pretty easy and leave me with a groove.
The pith is the soft, fleshy interior of a plant stem.
But basically all I'm gonna do is cut the pith out of it, and now I have a ready-made notch right there to put an arrowhead into. That's a very good piece right there. If I could collect a half a dozen of those, I'd be real happy.